Episode 17.
Episode 17, and if you guys knew how long it just took us to set up for episode 17, yeah.
Lauren loves to like completely switch things up at the last minute.
Okay, it's not that I like to switch things up. It's that we have changed the format of filming the podcast.
It looks good.
And we realized that we've got to be facing each other because otherwise it looks like we're just like, talking our body to the side.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were supposed to do this at 9 a.m. and it is 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, and we got to get our kids here soon. So
we had a fun day today, though.
It was
we had
so
some visitors,
much
and it was
fun.
really fun.
And we got back to like some of the old stuff we were doing, and it was
I know.
It's just really fun.
I know.
But anyways, we had asked a bunch of you guys to submit some confessions because we said there is nothing funnier. I mean, the amount of like quote unquote confessions we've done in here is so funny, and we were like, oh, it would just be so funny to get everybody's.
We thought maybe we could make it a series.
Yes.
And do it like, once every month or something.
But gotta participate. It's anonymous.
Yes.
I said that a million times on stories, so now it's a running joke.
But truly, we used an app that is completely anonymous. So we have no idea who any of these came from.
Truly.
Which is really fun. And with some of them, I'm like, okay, wait, I want to know who said that.
I know I was reading them out loud just to like pre-read them. And like I had submitted some, Elizabeth did. And there was one, I was like, oh, that one's funny. I wonder who that is. She's like, wait, that was me. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. So
I put a couple in there. You'll just have to guess.
Yeah.
And see whose they are. Also, it's 700 degrees right now.
Yeah,
We're
it's all
sweating.
really hot. So if you hear some like panting breath, just know that it's because
we have to turn the AC off to do this or else it's really loud.
Yeah. Quite the setup we've got going. But okay, we'll start with some confessions and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is somebody had confessed to, and I'm sure people have done this, having a little treat and going to the pool late night and rendezvousing with their partner. This was an apartment pool, and they were saying that
I forgot about this one.
They said that I don't know if it was like another neighbor
they
or
got
something.
a noise complaint.
A noise complaint. Oh, okay. A noise complaint, yeah. And then this person who complained of the noise went back to their apartment to get their key to open the pool gate, and they scurried off then.
Mm-hmm. They got busted.
But they did finish in the shower later to recreate the ambiance, they said. But, when sometimes that treat kicks in.
Yeah, you never know how you're going to be feeling.
Yeah. So good for you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, this person said, I can't stand my mother-in-law, but she watches my kids and I have to be nice.
That's tough.
That's really hard. Because it's like,
that's tough.
She's doing you a really great service.
Yeah.
By million, but also like still doesn't make your personalities click.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's one of those where you just have to be nice for the situation.
Yeah.
And also just kind of accept like we're different.
Yeah.
We operate different, but I still like love and respect the fact that you're helping me out so much.
For sure.
That would be hard though.
Yeah. I feel really lucky because I love my mother-in-law and we get along so well, but I do think that would be really a hard situation. But I think you just gotta.
Same, that would be hard. My mother-in-law doesn't live local, so like I don't know what it would feel like to have my mother-in-law like watching my kids every day, and she's great with them. She probably do better than I could. So that one's tricky, but I can see like that being kind of a touchy.
Yeah, I guess like maybe kind of trying to identify like what it is that drives you crazy and maybe like having a conversation about it. Like,
True.
I feel like sometimes we just, like, keep stuff like that so bottled up. But if it was just, like, a conversation, like, hey, it really, like, hurts my feelings when X, Y, and Z, like, that could change things.
Or maybe it's something like this person is, like, their mother-in-law watches the kids and she, like, lingers after and stuff. Like, okay, you know, it would be easier with a babysitter to be like, okay.
It's always hard with in-laws, though. I was just talking to a friend about this the other day because you're not their child. And, like, if it was, like, your husband that says something, it's one thing.
Totally.
Which that is another potential recommendation. Like, I don't know.
But also it's like, depending on what it is, you don't want the mother-in-law to be like, oh, so you just sent him to do your dirty work.
Right. But it is hard because, like, it's different when it's, like, your own mom and you would be like, stop doing that, you know? But, like,
your own mom and your mother-in-law are just different.
Yes.
A dynamic of, like, how you would speak to them in general.
Yeah, that's tough.
But
that's tough.
Yeah, but I bet a lot of people can relate to that because just family dynamic is hard. So I could see that. Okay. I feel like more people than will admit, but somebody said, I absolutely hate being pregnant.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be one of those people who loves it. I was like, I'm going to get pregnant and I'm just going to love it.
Every time I got pregnant, I was like, all right, this time I'm going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not one of those people. And not to be insensitive to anyone who struggles to get pregnant, but I struggle mentally, physically, all the things. And I wish I could say that I loved it. I mean, I loved, obviously, knowing that I was going to have a baby, but like actually the way I felt was I struggled hard.
I feel like mine was a lot of mental more
Me
so than
too.
physical. And like, you know, my first pregnancy was just weird. So I think
Yes.
that just sent me over the edge. But
yeah,
I didn't love
the
it.
relatable feeling is feeling guilty for feeling that way. Like
Which
I
I
can
don't
completely relate.
I think there's anything wrong with hating being pregnant. It's not like
Yeah.
you're saying like, I hate my child.
Right. Or I'm not
You just-
grateful to be pregnant.
Yeah, like of course you are, but like
Yeah.
it's just sometimes
Yes.
different bodies it like doesn't mesh well.
You're not alone.
And honest to God, it's like you share your body for 9 months. You share your body if you breastfeed. It's
lot.
like, can I just have myself for 1 second? It's a lot. Like that's a big load to carry.
Honestly, probably won't feel that way ever.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't think
even
it's
when
in-
they're out of the house and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's really funny and amazing, and I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. I creep on my ex-boyfriend's wives on social media occasionally to confirm that my kids are cuter than theirs. That's great.
No shame.
I could.
No
yeah,
shame.
Yeah. I mean, my ex doesn't
Although,
have social media,
I was gonna
so I don't
say-
know how that would feel.
Yeah.
But I could see that being
Yeah.
like enticing to be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
As long as you're not like also just kind of trying to check up on him.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
Yeah.
I guess it depends. But
Yeah.
either way, as long as it's in a harmless way, I'm like,
Yeah. I'm
and
sure
as
your
long as
kids
you
are
think your kids
cuter.
are cuter, yeah. Which I'm sure they are. I mean, everyone thinks their own kids are so cute.
Yes.
Well, most people. Okay, pretty sure my dad used to be a drug dealer of some sort. I feel like we were talking about this the other day. That it's so funny that like you don't know your like parents before you were
Yeah.
born. You don't know your grandparents before they were your grandparents. Like
Yes.
you really don't know anyone's like true past. You know what they tell you of their past. So
Yeah,
I
we were
could
talking
see
about
that.
it with my grandparents because they're in their 90s. And we were saying that we're like, to think like what they went through, what they did, who they were when they
Right.
were like in their 20s.
Like you have no idea.
Back
It was a whole different
It was a
time.
completely different world.
Like
That's
people
really crazy to
in
think
our
of that.
grandparents' era, like you know, smoked, drank when they were pregnant, all
Yeah.
these things, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's just so weird to think about that. Like we don't
Yeah.
know a ton about them.
Yeah, this really mean girl in high school spread a rumor that my dad was a drug dealer when I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a real mean one.
Just for fun, like, or was she trying to get back at you?
I mean, so many. No, this was like a true mean girl, like just decided she hated me and just made up so much shit. But
Karma's a bitch.
nowadays I'd be like, cool.
Sweet. That's funny. I was just thinking about that. Like, but if they did that in the past, like, what are you gonna say about it? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't live
Yeah.
their life. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. This one says, I'm a teacher and a student gave me a jump drive, thinking it had our fight song on it. Instead, naked pics of my dad. Why is your dad putting naked pics on a jump drive? Let's start
Wait,
there.
naked pictures of the student's dad.
That's how I interpret it.
Okay,
Naked
yeah.
pics of
Wow.
his dad. Yeah. So why is your dad just keeping a jump drive in your house of naked pics? I feel like that's the story.
That is wild.
And this poor teacher, it's like,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the butthole that I sent to the group.
oh, please tell the story. Please tell the story. Because Elizabeth's basically done
Oh
this.
my God. Okay, so this was a couple years ago now.
Mhm.
So our kids' school uses Blooms, which I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with. It's just basically like a messaging app for teachers to like
Communicate
They
with
put
parents.
like all the parents in a group and they communicate. They can send photos throughout the day. And I was driving. I remember exactly where I was. It was when we were living in Bridge Park, and I had pulled right in front of like Kona area, and I got a text message from one of my kids' friends that's in his class, mom, and she said, "Hey, I think your Blooms account might have gotten spammed." And I immediately was like, "Oh God!" Like my mind was like going everywhere. I was like, "Jesus Christ, what did I do? What did I send?" Yeah, I was like, okay. And so I was like, wait, why? I'm driving because I couldn't pull it up. My internet like wouldn't connect. And I was like, why? Why do you say that? And she said, this picture was just sent like from you,
Right,
quote
to the
unquote,
group.
to the group of all the parents of my
Yes.
son's class. And she sends the picture. It was the most graphic,
to say the least,
bare butthole picture of. I mean, clearly it was spam because it was like
okay.
a
And when
man.
we say butthole,
We're
mean
talking.
spread out
He
butthole.
was bending over, spreading out his butthole with his two hands. It was the most graphic.
She decided to text this to me. I'm like, what is this?
You guys, it was so bad.
And then I was like, do you think people think that's Peter's butthole?
I know. When I told Peter, I was freaking out. I called Peter and he's like, well, I mean, it's worse for me. They probably think that was my butthole.
Oh my God. I would have crawled out of my skin into a ditch.
But it was so bad.
Just to clarify, it was spam.
It was spam. And a bunch of like Bloom's like schools got hacked. Like throughout the next few days, it was like a thing. So, you know. But the other funny part is it was Emma, our nanny. It was like her first day. And I walked in the door and I was like, my Bloom's account got hacked and this butthole picture was just sent out to all of Peter's.
I never asked this.
Parents.
Did you follow up after being like, hey, everybody, sorry, it was spammed? Okay. Because I didn't know if you just went
I emailed the school. I was like.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I was like sitting there just thinking like, this is kind of scary that like someone can hack into Bloom's because there's like photos of our kids. You can see
100%.
where they're at during the day. Like. All of these
that
things.
would really freak me out.
Yeah.
But also I'd be like, but they sending the police to my house for like possession of pornography? Like I'd be freaking out. Like this isn't my butthole.
I know. It was really bad.
Hilarious. And every time I think about that story, I'm like, oh my God, it's like every parent's worst nightmare in a group chat full of other parents. Like,
oh my God, I know. But honestly, real pictures of yourself going to your teacher, like that person said.
I was like, why are you looking at me? I didn't do that. Like this
confession.
person said yes.
Yeah, like that would
and like
be worse.
A child's dad.
Yeah.
Again, still why he has these on a flash drive. Like, this is really weird.
That's risky.
That's a whole different. In a flash drive.
A flash drive.
Put on your camera roll if you really need that. But like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I might as well say floppy disk.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was wild. Oh God, I would be freaking out. If I was the teacher, I would be like,
I want to know, like,
not
so
even
what
sure
did
what to
you do? This person that's the teacher, like, did you like tell them? Did you like just give it back and not say a word? Like, I need to know how this.
That's a really good point. Like,
yeah.
Did this go unspoken? Did you like
right.
have to turn it into the school? Did you email the parent? Did you call the parent? Did you just leave it and put it back in the backpack and say we didn't actually need it after all?
I think
was the kid doing this on purpose?
I think that, yeah, like what if the kid
because I'm like, this could have been a high schooler like fight song. I'm like, do elementary schools have fight songs? So I'm like, maybe this was like a high schooler
trying to get back at his dad.
I don't know.
Damn,
that's even more twisted.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's more twisted than I was thinking. This is getting deep. Okay, another confession was someone said was having a me morning. So I decided I'll enjoy a nice little edible and walk to get coffee. While in line, I reached for dessert in the dessert case. Case being the key word here. Because I smacked my hand into the glass and so hard, everyone there turned to look at me. I immediately had to leave. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
And I feel
like there was glass there and she didn't realize
she thought
it.
she was like reaching in to get the treat, I guess, and just slammed her hand in the glass.
And like in reality, it probably wasn't that like that big of a deal. Like people probably just kind of giggled, but when you've had an edible, you think everyone is freaking laughing at you, thinking you're so dumb.
Oh my God, I know. And she's like just innocently trying to get coffee and have some me time, and she like can't even get a treat out of the thing. Oh, that would be horrible. It's kind of like when people run into like glass doors and stuff.
Oh, I've
it's
done
like
that so many times.
I was gonna say I've done it, and it's honestly really funny though.
It is really funny, unless you break your nose. Although you'd be pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? I've been waiting to break my nose since childhood to get a nose job. Except that's not true because they won't even do what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
So.
Bummer.
For the record, I want my nostrils touched, and no one will touch them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
I think your nostrils are beautiful.
Okay, they're not, but that's a whole other story. Okay, this person said, I don't believe in the religion I was raised in anymore, but I'm too nervous to tell my parents.
Yeah, that's relatable. I get that.
Really hard because I grew up going to like a Catholic school, like raised Catholic, you know.
How much you want to bet that person's
Catholic? Probably. I mean, because that's what I was going to say. Because the thing about, and I'm only saying the thing about Catholic because I just really don't know how other religions operate is
And because we both were raised Catholic.
Is you get like communion in second grade, like you don't even know what's going on.
Right.
And then confirmation, 8th grade, it's like, again, you're not even an adult. Like, I mean, yeah, you do these things and you go through the motions, but it's like, you don't really pick your faith. And then when you get older, sometimes it's like, I like this piece and this piece, but I don't fully think I align with that. And I think that's totally fair. And I also think
that's fine. Like, as an adult, you should feel like okay about, I mean, not just as it comes to religion, but just like as you get older and you experience life more and more, like it's okay to change the way you think about certain things. I mean, whether it be religion, politics,
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And playing devil's advocate, I'm like, if this is somebody who did go to like a religious school growing up, the only thing I could see is like the fear of your parents being like, that's a slap in the face. I paid your tuition to go to a Catholic school and now you claim you just don't care. You know?
Yeah.
So I could see people taking that angle, which would suck because it's like, well, but I'm adult. I'm allowed to think what I want. And like, I don't have to agree.
Right.
But I could see that being nerve-wracking, being like,
But also, like, do you have to tell your parents? I mean...
Well, maybe if you have kids and stuff and they're like, oh, are you going to baptize them? Are you going to, like, maybe it's in that form of they're saying, like, I'm afraid to say, like, no, we're not because I don't believe in that. Or, like, you know, not like they have to go and be like, I am now this sector of Christian or whatever. But, like...
I will say I was raised Catholic, and over the years, like, I've had a lot of conversations with my mom about this topic, and, like, at first, I feel like she just was like, oh my God, no, like, this is what we believe and everything. But, like, the more we've kind of, like, talked about it, she's, like, more accepting of just, like, the fact that maybe there are aspects that she doesn't agree with either, or, like, she just kind of respects the fact that I have chosen not to.
Right.
So, like, I mean, I feel lucky that she's been, like, open to the conversation, but I don't know. I think that maybe we think situations like that are going to be received a little more harshly than sometimes they are. But I also don't know your parents.
Yeah. I will say this about it. I grew up going to Catholic school, all that. And I did not get married in a church. And just jerk knee reaction. My mom was a little upset and did think it was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And I mean, she wasn't like shunning me for life, but she did think it was a little slap in the face.
Yeah.
But then after our wedding, she was like, that was just so beautiful. I loved it. So she did come around to the support. But I do think that like I could see the shock factor of it being like, wait, what?
Totally.
So I could see both sides in that.
Yeah, for sure. Relatable though.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing a lot of adults may cross.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. This person said, I have sexual dreams about my ex often. The only reason I said, ooh, is because I'm like, that's kind of a hard one because I'm like, it depends on how you view dreams. Do you view dreams as like something you've been often thinking about? Do you view dreams as like just old memories? Do you view dreams as like yearning for something or just straight up random thoughts?
Yeah, that's hard.
Because it's like
that is kind of the worst though when you have a dream about anybody that's like vivid or makes you feel like guilty that you were even thinking about it. You're like, ugh. And sometimes when they're real vivid and you can't shake it like all day, it's like, God, why was my mind thinking about that?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying like I feel like it's how you interpret dreams because I've done that like where I've dreamed something and then the next day I'm like, how did that even pop in my mind? It's not like I was thinking about it the day before. Like
I haven't even thought about that person. Like, I mean, sometimes I'll randomly have people pop up in my dreams from like middle school that I haven't even like thought about, heard from.
Or people doing the weirdest things. Or
not
like,
even friends with them on social media. So there's no subconscious like reminder of them at all.
I would love to hear somebody who's like an expert on dreams, like explain like what, one, do certain dreams mean, and two, where do they come from?
Are there people out there that do that?
Yeah.
Really, although it's kind of like a psychic to me. Like, I don't know if I'd want to know.
No, there's like books on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different theory. Like some people think that like genuinely it's pieces and parts of the dreams are things that you have thought of during the day and it morphs into something. Yeah. Some people think maybe it's from like,
dreams are so weird in general.
The like filing cabinet in the back of your brain. I mean, I honest to God would love to like listen to something a little bit more deeper on dreams because it's like, how does
let's do that and then we can report back on what we learned.
And if anyone knows a dream expert, please tell us because I would be so fascinated.
Yeah. I have dreams so interesting almost every single week that all my veneers fall out.
I honestly think I've had that dream for you.
Seriously, it's like weekly.
Like it's kind of
It's
scary.
gotten better. Like when I first had them done, I feel like maybe it was like a little trauma.
What's it called when you can control your dreams? Lucid dreams?
Oh, I don't know. You can control your dreams.
Yeah.
As in like you kind of wake up from a dream and then you want to finish it. Don't you hate that when you're like having a good dream and you wake up and you're like, no, I want to know the end. And you like
try to
fall back asleep and
yes.
like, yeah.
I do that so often.
Works.
It's so annoying. And I'm like, oh, I just want to know the ending.
I know. That's the worst.
Or that like you probably have all these dreams and you don't remember them all. Like we remember maybe like few.
Don't they say that?
That's
like,
I don't know. That's why I want to talk to an expert.
Dreaming technically, but like we only remember so many of them.
But do you only dream in like REM sleep or you're
I feel like
dreaming?
I actually have more vivid dreams when I'm not in REM sleep, like where I'm kind of like falling back asleep.
Or is it
and
the
I'm
ones
like,
that you can remember?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you're like half awake.
Those are definitely the ones I always remember more is when I'm like not dead asleep.
Same.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's because we're like half awake.
Yeah.
But I'm
the dreams
really
I used to have
curious.
Pregnant were
pregnancy dreams are a whole different category, and I'm like
wild.
I don't know what. Again, I'd like to ask a dream expert.
Makes you wonder if it's something I was going to
change the way that you dream,
like depending on where you're at in your cycle or something.
Oh yeah,
I bet it does because the pregnancy dreams are so real, and that has to be like hormone.
Okay,
related.
calling anyone who knows anything about dreams, please.
Yes, please. We need to know.
Please,
more.
Anyway, send us an email, get a DM, text us. I need to know.
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me.
I know.
Okay, I got a boob job and it was 10 times easier than breastfeeding. I have never had a boob job, but I can tell you this. Breastfeeding was the hardest thing I've ever done, so I can only imagine that a boob job would be easier.
Confession, that one was mine.
Got it?
And it 100% was. Like, yeah, so much easier. It was a breeze compared to breastfeeding. Although I'm not one of the people who had an easy time breastfeeding. Like some people, I think it's genuinely like not that hard. For me, it was like at all 3 times, it was a struggle. And I always thought like, oh, maybe this time will be easier because I've done it now. But no, it was always a struggle for me.
Mine was always a really big struggle. My kids didn't want to latch. They didn't pull enough milk. I didn't produce enough milk. You know, it was all the things.
Boob job, that was easy.
I mean, heck, I believe it. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I think breastfeeding was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I didn't even do it that long.
Same.
Okay, this one said, I think my boyfriend is proposing tonight. Fingers crossed emoji. Stay tuned. I hope so. I hope that happened for you, or if this was today or last night. I don't know because I can't see a timestamp.
Yeah.
But either way, I hope so.
Congrats if so.
Yes.
If not, we are hoping it happens soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, that's exciting.
It wasn't the right time if you thought that it was.
No, and again, yeah. I mean, we could always go deep. Okay. This is the last one that somebody confessed was, I tell my husband I will vote for Trump, but like this, voting is anonymous. From a finance standpoint, it makes a lot more sense for us to vote for Trump. So that's why he votes for him despite not liking him. But me and my reproductive rights will secretly vote Harris and avoid the marital conflict.
That's such a real thing.
Yeah.
A real thing.
I mean, I absolutely 100% hate to talk about politics.
That's a very real thing.
Mainly, though, because I'm like, that's the point. You should vote for who you want to based on your research. It's not my business to tell you who to vote for.
I was just going to say, like, regardless, I love that you are even, like, feeling what you want to feel. Because I feel like a lot of times people are just like, okay, who am I voting for? And like husband tells them, and that's it.
And I bet a lot of people can relate to that one because it's like,
oh, totally.
Like social media and the news and family members and husbands and so on and so forth are always trying. Everyone's always trying to tell people.
Yes,
but the thing to remember, it's like there's a reason.
Do your own research. Yeah,
that there's multiple candidates too because there's not one size fits all, which stinks. And I mean, she made a good point. Like sometimes financially versus like
that's
your social issue views is so real. And I could see that.
have such a hard time being like super, super one way or the other on anything political because I feel like I can just see a lot of how, like, I can just see how in one person's situation, it could feel so much different from another. Like, totally. I struggle with that in general, and I totally relate to that. But again, props to you for even, like, having your own, Like, how many times does like a celebrity post about something political and every single person, like so many people are just like, okay, I've decided.
I
Good
have
for
a
you.
real problem
Yeah.
with, honest to God, not even just celebrity, anyone
Yeah.
posting political. And I know that the flip side of that, people will say, like, if you don't take a stand, you're not standing for anything. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, it's not my job to
Yeah.
do the research for you. It's not my job to give you my opinion
Yeah.
because absolutely no situation is the exact same. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't like how like everything gets so pushy.
Yeah.
And
I feel
it's
like
not
it's
that
in the delivery too. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I agree with you. Like, there's so many things that can be wishy-washy
Yeah.
one way or the other. But at the end of the day, it's
Your decision.
you sign up, you
Yeah.
get a vote. You should decide how to vote how you want
And
to.
no one has to know. That's why it's
and
private.
it's anonymous.
That's
Nobody
why it's
needs to know.
private.
You do what you
Yeah.
think is best for either you, your family, however you want to vote.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Right. I completely agree.
And it's like, just like anything else. Everything.
Yeah.
It's so hard to believe anything and everything.
I know.
And
I know.
not, it's just insane. So kudos to whoever wrote that one because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that and the fact that like
100%.
they're not going to vote
Especially
the
right
same
now.
as their husband, their sister,
Right.
their brother, their mom, their dad, their friend,
Right. That's actually like what we shouldn't be doing is just like voting one way just because someone else told us to.
Yeah.
Like for sure. I will say sometimes on social media, like, well, okay, there's the people who are obnoxious and disrespectful in their posts. But I will say, like, I have seen things pop up a few times that motivates me to research something further.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, I respect those posts if they are factual and like not like disrespectful and like pushy, like you said.
Yeah, I think that is so.
But again, it's like you got to do your own research and you can't just believe whatever you read, especially on social media.
Absolutely not. And going along with doing research, though,
Yeah.
this is sometimes where I have trouble because I'm like, I could do as much research as I want, but how do I know you're going to actually do what you're saying you're going to do?
I know.
Because how many times have we seen that happen? So, yes, sometimes I think articles people post may be useful to help provoke thinking, but sometimes I'm like,
I know.
but how do I know that this is going to get done? So it's just hard. I think everything is so gray,
it's a hard
freaking
time right
area,
now,
and then I hate
it's
that.
just ramping up.
I know.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's awesome that you're like even having the thought of potentially not voting for the same person that your husband is.
I know. I read this meme that was like, can't wait to go to the Thanksgiving table and talk politics with everyone.
I know, God, the timing.
Like, oh my God, that is so true because everyone's like,
why does it always have to happen?
And there's always one person who's going to stir the pot in the middle and you're like, oh my God, can we just enjoy the holiday?
My dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, well, like we said, if you guys enjoyed this, we were thinking about maybe making it like a little series, Coco Confessions. So
maybe
let
we
us
could
know.
like theme them, like confess crazy dreams you've had that you.
Oh, I like that. A theme for them. That's a really good idea.
Or like confessions about like parenting or whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
we can,
okay. I
like, theme
actually
them, get
love
a little more
that idea.
specific.
That's great.
Yeah, that way you guys have like a little bit more of like you have a prompt,
a guide.
Yes.
And I do think that once you have a guide, you like start to think about it more, and you're like, oh, okay, that. Like at first you're like, I don't have anything to confess. And then you're like, well, okay.
Yeah. When it comes to dreams, I mean, I've had some messed up dreams.
This is my last plea. Whoever is an expert at dreams or knows
I
anyone.
know. I want to have him on the podcast.
Me too. I was going to say, even if they could like
that would be cool.
Skype in, Zoom in. Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay. Thanks for listening.
Subscribe, like, and tune back in next week.
Talk to you guys later.
Yeah.